Welcome back one and all, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Shadowrun Returns. Yes, it is Saturday and there's going to be a lunchtime Let's Play today. That's crazy, I know, but here we are. You're back. I think the highlights of the Wolves game will be on soon. Want to take a load off and watch with me? I found something in the bunk Sam was using. Yeah? Great. What was it? A photo. Did you know Sam had a twin sister? Yeah, I did. He mentioned her once or twice. It didn't sound like they got along all that well, she thinks. He was rambling on about her the last time I saw him. By that point, he was completely gone. I couldn't follow what he was saying, but he sounded miserable. Your comlink chips, and the screen shows the smiling face of Officer Aguirre. Aguirre? If he's smiling, it must be about money. Are all cops on the take as happy as you? Yeah, we have our own clubhouse and everything. As per our discussion, I'm informing you of another Ripper murder. The victim worked at the NTSB investigation facility down on the docks. You owe me for this. Put it on my tab. You there now? Better get here quick before McCluskey arrives. The image on your PDA dissolves as the call ends. Another Ripper murder? Where? The docks gotta go. Okay, listen, I want to help. He dragged me out of the Royale before something bad happened. Worse than getting my arm torn off, and Sam was my friend. You head to the docks and I'll see if I can track down Sam's sister, Jessica. She might be able to help us. See you when I get back. Actually, thanks, I appreciate the help. We'll be nice to her. We are off to the NTSB warehouse. We should probably go talk to Miss Kabuta on the way out, though. She may have some insight. How else may I be of service? Is Mr. Delilah here tonight? We know he is. Yes, Mr. Delilah is in the back bar. That's usually where he does business. You mentioned Coyote's crusade. What is it? Coyote grew up in the Royale but managed to escape that life. However, her cousin was apparently not so lucky. He came to town about a year ago and fell in with the wrong circle. He was introduced to sim chips and became addicted to BTLs. Coyote has been tearing her way through chip houses for months now, searching for him and acting as a one-woman cleanup crew. And if you don't mind, how did you get involved in all of this? I'm a former runner. Now I provide a safe haven and marketplace for runners who need a trustworthy place to congregate and do business. Are any Johnsons or Fixers here tonight? In addition to Mr. Delilah, you may wish to speak with Van Gross. He's often side stage. Van Gross is most often a receiver of found articles, but occasionally he has work. Well, let's go take a look. He might have some work for us. Maybe not. He's not even here. He's usually like right there somewhere. Apparently he is MIA, so we're gonna leave and go to the warehouse. Yes. Let's travel to the docks. By the way, we're in Seattle. Beautiful city. Not in this particular iteration of the city. It's not very pretty in the South Seattle docks here, but in general, Seattle, nice city. I've been there once. It was pretty cool. Alright, what do we have around here? There's a homeless dude. There's a hooker. Hey, you looking for a good time? Do you know anything about the NTSB? Yeah, the bums around here have been stealing old crap from that place for years. Not worth my time, though. Alright, let's go to the gate. Halt. The guard looks bored. He toys with his gun absent-mindedly, like he might just shoot something on a whim to watch it die. Hey, you're about to trespass on corporate property. You looking to get dusted, street scum? I'm working with Lone Star on the crime scene investigation in the NTSB warehouse. Sure you are, and I'm Lofuger, the King of Dragons. Beat it. Alright. Fine, we'll get in our own way. We only have one karma. That's not enough karma for anything useful. Okay, hey, you looking for a good time? Not me, a friend of mine. I need you to have some fun with the guard by the fence around the corner. She looks at you knowingly. Alright, 20 buys you a 5-minute distraction, then I gotta get back to work and earn some real nuyen. Fair enough, have fun. Go flirt with the guard. It's not an NPC turn, let me just save. We're gonna take this ladder. Hey, that's mine. Who raised you, a pack of wolves? That their ladder is rightfully mine. Can I borrow it for a few minutes? Sure, maybe that noodle machine's still working. We put the little ladder against the fence, which doesn't reach high enough to get over the, what I'm going to guess is electric fencing, but is possibly barbed wire that just didn't get the barbs. Regardless, we're inside the compound. I don't think there's anything outside of note. Oh, there is. There's totally things outside of note. Look at that. A chest to loot. Packed with phosphorus, this grenade explodes, causing an additional -4 HP for 3 rounds. What would you like to do with it? Send it to our stash. We're full up right now. We'll also send that one to our stash. Cool. We found some loots. Anything over here? I don't think there's too much in... Wow, that fog of war is not going away. There we go. Okay. That's about it. We'll head inside the warehouse. Transition to a new location. Continue? Yes. Let's go do that. Inside the large grey warehouse, it's as typical as the outside. High ceilings stored with girders and rickety catwalks atop a huge utilitarian room. Concrete and steel walls meet a concrete floor. This is a place for storing things and nothing more. Despite the quiet on the outside, the inside is a hornet's nest of Lone Star officers going about their business. In the center of the activity is the Emerald City's Ripper's latest victim. With uniforms everywhere, no one stops you at the door. It seems this case hasn't leaked to the press yet. Lone Star or no, you've got a job to do. Let's go take a look at what's going on inside this little building. There's Officer Aguirre. Let's go talk to him. Took your sweet time, didn't you? You know traffic these days. Fill me in. We had time to go over the evidence while you were en route. Turns out this might not be a Ripper murder after all. He left the computer on in the office over there. I left the computer on in the office over there, if you want to see it for yourself. The victim worked here at the NTSB warehouse as a black box researcher. The National Transportation Safety Board. This warehouse is used to go over the wreckage from the plane crashes to determine what happened. The victim was in charge of their highest priority investigation at the moment. We've gone through the victim's computer and his case notes indicate he was selling secrets. Idiot kept records. Well, scientists don't make good criminals. Tell me about it. Some runner like you probably offed him to cover up his corp master's involvement and tried to make it look like a Ripper killing. Here's the office key. Check it out for yourself if you want. We'll get to that in a moment. We have other people to talk to like Dresden. Eltimar, surprised to see you here. Let me guess. Officer Aguirre tipped you off. Suppose you must have made an impression on him at the market yesterday. Or your cred stick did at any rate, he chuckles. Anyways, surprise, we got another Ripper victim on our hands. You look like you've been putting in some overtime, Dresden. What can you tell me about the victim? The victim's male, mixed Native American descent, age 38. Based on the condition of the body, it looks like he was killed at around 2 in the morning. And yes, I'm a little tired. Bodies have been piling up like cordwood, it seems. Cause of death, unknown. Several internal organs were removed from his body after death, quite gruesomely. I'm not sure if the killer even knew what they wanted before they started cutting. Not much else to tell ya. He does have a lot of pre-existing scar tissue, so he probably had a major surgery at some point in recent history. Unfortunately, with the organs gone, I can't determine the nature of his surgery. Nice hole in where his chest was. So what was on the butcher's shopping list? Well, the killer definitely took the lungs. The more I look at it though, the other missing organs might just be eviscerated within the chest cavity. Is McCluskey getting any closer to a suspect? McCluskey couldn't find his ass with both hands. Don't tell him I said that though. How's Officer Aguirre doing on the case? He seems like a real go-getter. Aguirre would love to solve it before McCluskey and get his gold detective shield. Plus, he'd love to see McCluskey suck it in front of his superiors. He's already tried to bribe me to keep information from McCluskey and slip it to him. I'm inspired by their tireless pursuit of justice. Do you take the money? He grins from ear to ear. Do you have any idea how much the job pays these days? I don't think Aguirre's officer's salary is going to do much to seduce me into helping him. It sounds like the Ripper is taking a different trophy from each victim. Sam's liver, this guy's lungs. Any theories? Sorry, I don't do theories. I'm just a scientist who happens to prefer dead people. However, while there was massive damage in the chest cavity, I can see that the victim's lungs were transplants, which is interesting since another victim's missing heart was also a transplant. Granted, modern medicine has made organ transplants relatively easy, but that's an odd coincidence. As a scientist, it's just that. Coincidence. This is only the third body I've personally examined. One of our other branch managers handled the other 2. If I find that more of the victims had organ transplants, I'll let you know. Who's that woman? No clue, she just showed up next to kin, I think. I'm gonna look around. Good luck out there. Thank you, Dresden. Shannon Halfsky sounds like a shaman name to me. You're not a cop. She looks up, watching you warily. I'm an independent. What's your relationship to the dead man? The suspicion in her voice and eyes departs almost instantly when the subject turns to the deceased. He's my brother. I've been trying to speak with him, but I'm afraid his spirit is too disoriented by his recent journey to answer me. So you're a shaman. Yes, for all the good it's doing me. If I could just make contact, I might be able to deliver justice and allow my brother's spirit to rest. And were there any other witnesses? Not as far as I can tell. None among the living anyways. Realization then dawns, bringing the light back to her eyes. But my brother's spirit may not be alone here tonight. She closes her eyes and concentrates, droning a low chant you can barely hear. Yes, there are others. Other spirits who may be of help. Her features harden in frustration as if she is searching for something that remains elusive. Sighing, she opens her eyes and fixes you with a stare. But I can't do it alone. Well, what do you need? This warehouse contains the spirits of plane crash victims trapped between worlds. They wish to help. They wish to be heard, and I think they have something to say about my brother's murder. Lone Star won't let me in there, but you seem to have the run of the place. If you can find personal items that belong to the victims, I believe I can summon a spirit to speak with us. I'll need at least 2 such objects. Can you find them for me? Okay, sure. I will do so. So there's a door here. Let's head into this room. See what we can find around here. There is some shoes on the ground. There's a large pile of old shoes on the ground next to the airplane seats that could be discarded luggage or possibly the shoes worn by the occupants of the plane at the time of the crash. Let's dig through it. You find nothing interesting about the shoes. Okay. Well, the shoes were a bit of a dud. There's another thing up here. What is this? It's hard to say whether this heap of items and refuse has recovered from a plane crash or simply trash that hasn't been taken out yet. Let's dig through it anyways. A sticky substance of some sort seems to have seeped through the trash pile and your hands are quickly covered with the stuff. After searching for a moment, you unearth a handful of interesting items. Let's suspect the cred stick, of course. Surprisingly, the cred stick is still functional. You slot it into your PDA and 200 nuyen is added to your account. With the lunchbox. A dented tin lunchbox that's seen better days. You can barely make out the face of a grinning troll on the front. Earrings? The earring is made out of burnished steel, formed into the shape of a small salmon. An intense primal fear washes over you as you touch its surface. This must be one of the items the shaman is looking for. You take the earring. Alright, anything else in this room? There's a locked door. We can't get in there yet. There's another locked door here. Doesn't look like we can get in there. Let's head up here. Again, there's the office, of course, where the computer was. Hopefully there's a alarm or some sort of override on the computer. That'd be nice. But first of all, let's go to the lockers over here. This appears to be the victim's locker. The door is slightly ajar. Inside you see several of the dead man's personal items. Toothbrush? The blue toothbrush is still wet from being used. It smells of mint and cigarettes. Comb? As you reach for the comb, the hair on the back of your hand stands on end, and when you take it off its little shelf, your heart thumps in your chest hard. This must be one of the items the shaman is looking for. You pocket it. Well, that's all I needed. Thank you very much. Let's go talk to the computer shaman first. Let's go do the shaman first. It feels as though you have found enough objects. Yep, here you go. You hand her the objects you found. She closes her eyes and chants over them for a time. When her eyes open again, they're filled with tears. Thank you. These items are all I will need. It shouldn't take me long to... What the hell is this? Officer Guard trails after the detective, only meeting your eyes for a moment. She's the victim's sister. She... This is a crime scene, officer, not some salish drum circle. Isn't it standard procedure to contact the next of kin? Ma'am, consider yourself contacted. Now get the hell out. Come on, if we stay much longer, I'm liable to do something I'll regret. Or worse, something I'd enjoy. No, don't. I don't want to leave yet. I didn't do the computer thing. Oh, we got kicked out. Did I save recently? No, I didn't. Alright, that's fine. We'll deal with that later. That man is an ass. She stares daggers at McCluskey from across the warehouse. But there's no helping it now. I should just be grateful you were able to collect those items before those claws carted everything off. Can we summon the spirit? Not from here, I'm afraid. Spirits such as these have domains to which they are anchored. We need to get back in there. We'll come back later once the coast is clear. Can't stand the waiting, but I don't see any other choice. You sure you're up for this? If it means your brother's killer doesn't take another life, then yes. Thank you. Now, since we have the time, we should probably enlist some help. They may post security overnight. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you know where to find the kinds of people we need. You could say that. Good, I'll put up the money. If you find the bodies... She produces a fistful of crumpled nuyen from inside a leather pouch and starts to count it out and shoves the whole wad at you. 4,000 nuyen. Maybe back here at midnight the spirits will be strong then. Why is it always midnight? It's always midnight. Maybe when we come back we'll get a decker and we can open those doors. Actually, that's a good idea. Bring a decker with us for sure. As you start to leave the warehouse, your comm link chirps and the face of Coyote pops on the screen. Coyote looks tense. Hoi, Eltimar, you in the middle of something? Just getting jerked around by Lone Star, same old thing. I hear ya. Her jaw sets. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was born in the Royale. BTL pushers like Stevie J run the squats. Ran my world when I was growing up. I remember. She looks relieved. Whiz. I have a cousin Gino who's been missing for months. He hit the sprawl about a year ago and immediately fell in with some tweakers, bad guys. They hooked him on high amp dream chips and started using him for all sorts of dreck. I tried to help him, but he pushed me away. Then he disappeared. I've been shooting up BTL labs ever since trying to find him. I'm guessing you got a new lead? It's not a lead. Her face lights up. She's running hot. Has a serious edge. I know exactly where he is this time. Got an old friend who eyeballed him herself. I'm on the way. Paco's with me, but we could use another hand. You in? I need you right now. Alright, I'm on my way. I knew you'd come. I'll send you the address. See you soon. And that's going to be the end of our video once we load in. The cluster of dilapidated buildings where Coyote told you to meet her appears to be the remnants of a public housing project. The buildings look like cesspools filled with human debris. You find her standing with Paco on a street corner, eyeing the roofs, the doorways, the windows. Despite his attempts to engage her, Coyote barely says a word as the three of you weave your way through the tenements. She walks purposefully, her new cyber hand flexing open and closed with each step. It's unclear whether the action is voluntary or not. You circle around the back of the building and Coyote jumps up, grabs the bottom rung of the fire escape ladder and pulls it down. Without a signal, she starts to climb towards the roof. Paco looks at you worriedly and starts up the ladder. And that's, I think, going to be it if we can save. Thank you for meeting us, Eltimar. I owe you one. Null sweat. Figured you could use the backup. Yeah, you never know what sort of firepower to expect in one of these BTL squats. She brightens. Oh hey, listen. Got good news for you. You know Sam's sister Jessica? One of my contacts found her for me while you were on your way here. I called her and asked her to meet you at the Union later today. I hope that helps. Good job, thanks. She looks at you, her scarred face soft. Least I can do. Alright, let's get this done. My cousin Gino should be in one of the squats past that door ahead. I hear there's a whole lab set up in there. From my experience, there's usually a lookout watching for the cops outside and a guard at the door inside. Like I said, I don't know how much firepower to expect, but these guys are nasty, so stay on guard. I just want to get in, grab Gino, and get out. Right behind you, babe. Let's do this. Oh, the word babe. I've heard that too many times in my career. Anyways, I am going to call it a video here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.